What? How? How is that not working? Because now I'm just checking it on my own. It's like, what the hell? It's picking it up. I don't know why it's not. That's how. Oh, okay. How? That's not. But I do need to down mix to mono, I guess, for some reason. Because now I'm just checking it on my own. It's like, what the hell? It's putting on a stereo mix, so you can only hear me in the left. It's picking it up. I don't know why it's not. Oh, okay. Oh, why is it not doing? But I do need to down mix to mono, I guess, for some reason. God damn it all. Stereo panel. Oh, stereo panel. I guess I just gotta kill myself. Okay. That should have fixed it. I don't know why stereo was on. At least for the mic, because... let's see. Did it work? Testing 1, 2. Can everybody hear me? Oh, stereo panel. I guess I just gotta kill myself. Okay. That should have fixed it. I don't know why stereo was on. At least for the mic, because... Can everybody hear me in both sides of your, your headphones? I think that's the actual thing I want to know. Testing 1, 2. Can everybody hear me? On both sides. Yeah, it looks like it's working, but it was only on the left side for a minute. And that's obviously not a very good way to listen to an F1 race, much less listen to its commentator. Okay, wonderful. Cinema. I guess I'll just... Oh, I should have kept the stream open. At least to see chat. It's definitely not the omnidirectional mic I'm used to. That way I could have just talked anyway. But anyway, welcome back to LSR Group 1. My name is YT7. A bit of a change of pace. I'm not entirely sure who I'm replacing, but I'm very happy to be here nonetheless. 17 seconds to go as the clock ticks down to qualifying. We should be in for quite the race. As I check the Game Companion app for see who's leading the standings, see who your championship favorites are. It would be an Aston Martin if memory serves correctly because of what I just saw. Yes, it is. B-Tom leads the championship 5 rounds in with 74 points. Right, not too far ahead from TTV Canam. What flag is that? I should learn my flags. Anyway, B-Tom American Driver leads the Drivers' Championship with 74 points, just 3 points ahead of Canam, who is trailing behind. They are clearing the next William. Is that a Williams or an Alpine? Oh, it's an Alpine. Game Companion colors do not work for me. But anyway, 52 points rounds out the podium. The top 3, Frozen, the Canadian driver, did get one over on Maxi, I guess. There are a lot less Europeans than I thought there would be. That sounds like I'm saying it is a bad thing. I'm really not. I'm actually it's quite interesting. A lot of leagues that I've been in, a lot of leagues that I used to be in, at least were very European led. So the shift is quite it's nice. It's nice. Not that many time zone changes. Anyway, let's hope loading gets through. Well, oh God, can voice chat hear me? I don't need the drivers hearing me. Oh, that sucks if the drivers can hear me. Hold on. Let's fix that. Push to talk on. That way I don't know the actual button for it. Anyway. Welcome to the Spanish Grand Prix, everybody. My name is YT Tep and LSR, Lightning Speed Racing, round 5. Wonderful stuff. People are starting to exit their garages. Let's see. Lap data enabled, telemetry not really enabled as usual. I'm just trying to get my bearings. I'm trying to remember how I used to do this. It's been about a year and a half since I've commentated anything, and, you know, I didn't want to stay out for that long. You know, I hope everyone likes the banners as well. It's always quite fun to put them up. Didn't change all of them though. So let's see the Louis Vuitton banners here. V-Tom, the second person to lead, actually, that'll be a Red Bull of, I'm not sure who. Oh no, the Racing Bulls. So you're telling me the colors are confusing too? I haven't commentated since F123, so but it's a little bit rough too. Bear with me, but anyway, still very, 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 very excited to be here, especially at such an exciting race at the Circuit Barcelona Catalunya with about 14 turns. In its Formula One layouts, the reprofile. But yeah, see how this goes. See how this actually plays round turn 13, and a very welcome addition when it first came out. It's probably when I was. That's why I stopped commentating when that first came out. Anyway, rocking on down the main straight here, Vix Red begins his lap. Telemetry enabled, going about 330 kph into fourth gear. You can see some wonderful speeds here. Hopefully some wonderful battles do occur here. Flying on down to turn 4. You're gonna want to carry a lot of speed because you don't want to hug the apex too much. You want to really fly out, and it seems that Red is doing a pretty decent job so far, using up about half his battery as he flies into turn 5. And then goes into turn 6. This is one of my favorite complexes in Formula One. It's such a wonderful thing to get right. Kind of misses the apex though. I think puts a little too much in the curve. I don't know how much that's going to impact his actual lap time into turn 9. And I am just kind of reiterating, refamiliarizing myself with this. Into turn 10, the reprofiled one. I feel like I haven't seen a race in Spain in a very long time, especially because I haven't kind of dropped off F1 entirely for a while there. I haven't really got back into it because it's like, you really do just miss the rush, miss the thrill. And I can't imagine any better thrill than, you know, commentating an exciting group of drivers, 20 drivers, full grid, a 112, 844 is the baseline. Very soon beaten by our championship leader in the Aston Martin on soft tires. B-Tom with a 111, 714. Easily going to be the bar to beat here in Barcelona. Who else is about to cross the line? We're going to see one of the... trying to find you. And that is Frozen setting a new pole position, a 111, 507. It's kind of difficult finding out who's crossing the line, though. Williams doesn't really... I think they just started this one, no? Oh, that is a pole. That is a podium for them, at least. Top 3, 111, 755. The grid's starting to round out as people are going to start setting their laps here. Got an Alfa Romeo on an outlap. That's some purple sector, if I saw right, into turn 5 here. Freya Atis. You can tell me later how badly I messed that one up. Let's see if you actually carried the momentum. Because I did see a purple sector, and that was for them. Vix Red, the initial, the first person to set a lap, absolutely on the bottom there. That is a 52.18 as he goes into Sector 3. Let's see who else is about to cross the line with the Red Bulls. No, it wasn't going to be one of the Red Bulls. But get back to the Alfa Romeo. See what it's going to do into turn 14. I know you can carry that 7 pretty flat out in real life, but that is a P2 for the, not the Alfa Romeo, the Sauber. Oh my god, I'm showing... Just give me a minute, I'll get readjusted, but damn. You really do forget, how much you know. Or you forget how much has changed. If you step away from the sport for like a year. Anyway, top 10 is all shaped up now as Hog Rider's back in the pits. Top 10. The bar is so far a 112, 6.3 Mango going through now. It's about 20, a lot of battery. 20. You're supposed to use a lot of your battery here. I wonder if anyone's going to really be able to fight that 111. Or how much we are going to see people fight that 111. Mango's going to set his lap now. The Red Bull comes across the line with a 1. 11.729. That's going to put him in the top 5 here in Barcelona today. Both Kick Saubers do end up making the top 5 VTOM Championship leader, like I said, in P3. I'm going to knock on down to P3. Let's see. This should be his... No, this isn't his actual lap. I think he messed it up. Rather unfortunate. No change in the top 5 as someone did just come in, one of the Alpines. P7 for him, 111.884. We'll quickly see how much the bar is either heightened or lowered or raised. The bar should be raised. Hopefully the bar is raised by the time we get back to, or by the time we get further into qualifying. Stewie's still not set a lap. One of the other Aston Martins going through turn 9 now. Probably not carrying as much speed as he would have liked. It's not really purple sector. Someone did just climb up into the order there. Oh, it's the Red Bull around. I was about to be like, oh, who just retired from the session? Someone just, one of the Mercedes in the main straight. We're going an Aston Martin. If I could find him, if I wasn't blind. I don't know what happened there, but that is the top 10 threshold now clearly defined. 112.275. Ferrari in P9, Alpine in P8 there. Everyone's pulling back into the pits after setting their lap now, so that means I'm way more focused on the people who haven't set a lap. A couple of them invalidated, and I know Stewie, I think, is coming around now for a real lap. Like I just said, maybe that is the meta, hugging the apex, but we'll see. Does he set a purple sector 1? He does. So maybe that is the meta. Maybe we're seeing something from the Racing Bull that we haven't seen before. In through sector 2 onto turn 5. Carrying some very good speed, hit the apex. We'll see what he does here. Because this really is a make or break one. If you don't hit it, if you don't hit it just right, it really sets you off in the straight. You're going to lose a lot of time in turn 9. Carries more speed as you should. Very, very good stuff so far. That's VTOM going in for another out lap. Is that another purple sector? It is another purple sector. We might be watching a pole lap from CDR Stewie. Stewie Griffin. Wonderful stuff. And I know the third sector is far more pleasant to drive than it used to be, so it's not too demoralizing, especially if you somehow don't get it wrong. But you do need to carry a lot of speed, and it looks like he's been able to do that. This might be the pole lap. CDR Stewie crosses with a 112, seeming to have lost a lot of it. That does put him in the top 10, but only barely. It means Ferrari's on the chopping block next, if this were Q2. Only 3 other cars haven't set their laps yet. JMC going through turn 9 now. Very swirly on the exit there, mid-corner, so I mean, yeah, especially with the times we've been seeing, a 53 by the time you hit sector 3 is not going to be very, very good. Running out of fuel as well, very low energy. I'm not entirely sure where he's going to place. I'm not too confident if he's going to be placed very well. Let's see. Fastest lap leader. So far, the field spread is very close, though. Everyone down to P16 is, within a second of each other, which is very, very nice to see. It really is the Group 1 set of drivers. Tom going on another lap. Can he improve it at all? No. JMC back in the pits, knowing that probably wasn't the lap. Everyone's starting to go on another out lap here. Let's follow B-Tom, who is on another real lap. He did just purple. He is about 3/10 up on... 300ths down. 300ths down, and 300th of a second down on his previous time as he comes into Sector 2. Yellow flags for Ferrari. I assume they went off a little bit. Carrying some really, really nice speed. Let's see what he does as he crosses the line. And I didn't know they built the next bridge there. So, crosses the Sector 3 line. That is another purple. He is really going to try and fight this with the Alpine. The Alpine's only improving on his time slightly. So B-Tom looks like the man to beat here, so long as he doesn't lose it all in the third sector. And we've seen people lose in the third sector after purpling twice, but maybe that was just a flash in the pan for that other Racing Bull. The Aston Martin crosses the line about 277 kph and sets the new pole position. But let's not discount the Alpine just yet. They have improved by just around the same margin. So it is a 1:11.452. That's the time to beat. That is about 500ths down from this guy's time. The Alpine now looking to regain his crown going through turn 14. Let's see what he does. It looks like it's going to be a faster lap, and he crosses the line. That is pole position, a 1:11.343 for the BWT Alpine. Wonderful stuff, wonderful stuff. Let's see if these guys keep trading blows. As, you know, I'd like to be able to see how long we have in the session, but yellow flags keep getting brought out. This guy just purple, what the hell? I don't think, okay, he's not too far, you know, he is pretty, like, at least to consider him for a full lap, I think he's way too far off. But he's carrying some wonderful speed. Someone just put their Ferrari into P4, I just saw that, VFR Cloud, FVR, my bad. That is a way better lap from Erica. Erica? Is that an L? Lerka, yeah, that is an L. From Lerka there, putting his Williams in the top 3, demoting the Ferrari and, you know, the Kick Sauber down to P4 and 5 respectively. Everyone else is going to start really pushing this because I know 6 minutes left to go in qualifying. That's not really enough for too many more laps. Probably got 2 more shots, everybody. These guys are improving on laps, I think. V-Tom's on another lap here, so let's see if he can do anything going into turn 3. Okay, never mind, guys. Hugging the Apex was the strat the entire time. Is that a purple sector? He is ever so slightly down this time, but that doesn't mean it's really going to be an improvement. Froze is probably in the pits watching the Aston Martin really go through the motions here. As he goes in from turn 5. Let's see. If he carries enough speed, it's looking really good for the Aston Martin. That's about a 10th difference, ever so slightly more from the Alpine here. And that's what he's going to be looking to beat as he goes on the gravel. Never mind. That's not going to be a very good one to... It's not going to be a very good time for him. 3/10 up on his time now. Yeah, you would have hoped to see something better, but we're going to go back to the Kick Sauber of Firat. I'm going to say Firat. Rolls off the tongue really easily. Anyway, Firat in Sector 2 now. You can see he got a purple Sector 1. This could be the lap where he does end up, you know, taking pole position, getting his car in the podium at the very least. All these 3 guys are watching the pits now. Hopefully, you know, a little nervous. That is a 10th of an improvement, setting him at least into P3. And if he keeps on this form, he will be going into P2 or possibly even P1 if he really wants to. And my TV is turned off for some ungodly reason. This happens a lot. So where's the remote? Let's hope that doesn't happen during the race too much. Like I said, it was enough for P3. Sorry for that really quick, guys. The TV decided to turn off, and it'll do that periodically. And we are now going to see the Alpine coming back out to defend his position. Lerka definitely wants to come back out to defend his position as well. He does not want to be starting in P4 here. Quite the eventual outlap, if I do say so myself. You can see these two probably meeting a little bit. Can you see the Alpine from here? No, just barely. That is a pixel. Everyone's going to be preparing for their final runs, though. JMC is still on an outlap, so let's see if the unfortunate Haas can still do anything. As the Mercedes definitely not looking too happy that they retired. Full grid definitely means some chaos, some level of chaos should be expected. I'm actually curious where this guy's going to end up placing. Field spread is pretty wide. Not really, actually. I love to lie. It's about 1.2 seconds. It's not too bad. Not too bad. Really, people should be pretty close going into this. Let's see. Detail. Sorry, gap, I mean leader. Gap, field spread really isn't too much. I think these guys have just had terrible laps. You know, and obviously red. Not entirely counting that one. Frozen is on the fastest lap list, on another run, however, so let's go see how that's going. He's going to go into... Okay, it's going to hit the apex really aggressively. Looks like this is the drive. This might be it. It is improvement. It is an improvement. V-Tom's kind of sweating. He knows the race isn't won on lap 1, but he damn well like to start from P1. Going into sector 2 here, turn 6. Barely counts as a turn at all, but lovely little complex, as I've said. There's a little bit of reshuffling going on down there and got a bit swirly. The Alpine did on turn, yeah. We just kind of realized that ruined the lap. So that gives hope to V-Tom, who's going to start his lap now. 330 kilometers by the time he gets down to turn 1. Very Is that? Oh, that's the other Sauber. But yeah, 330 kilometers as it gets down to turn 1, and this little medium speed section requires you to hug the apex as tightly as you can before fanning out on the back on the racing line to hit hit turn 4. Doesn't look like too much of an improvement, or it's slightly under a tenth, so that's going to bag him at least, Didn't bag him a purple sector, but it should, if I can read. If he keeps on form, it will. It'll bag in pole position, especially if he really fights through here. This is where Frozen lost it last time. The Alpine ended up, just dropping the lap with about a minute and a half to go. It's definitely not over. It's definitely far from over. They're down into Sector 3 now. That is slight improvement. It's not going to be enough for pole position, and that is a little slide that'll ruin the Aston Martin's chances. Very unfortunate for B-Tom. If I remember correctly, or did you see that? Are you on another lap? Did you go again? You did go again. You're improving ever so slightly. Who has the purple sector? One then. I know you can check the race director, but I don't really want to. B-Tom's size, that's good enough. He's not going to improve again. He's not going to go on another outlap. And that is B-Tom out of today's qualifying. JMC also retired. I forgot to mention that as well. So Frozen kind of stands uncontested here. Fire Rat is definitely going to go try for his position, and that is a wonderful little toe from the kick Sauber there. Fire Rat then. I'm not sure how effective it's going to be, but either way, it's an improvement. It's going to get Fire Rat further and further away from Frozen's lap. So that's about going into turn 13 then. I think it's going to be pole position by quite a great margin. That was about a tenth of an improvement the last time we checked, so he crosses the line at a 1:11.264. 2/10 nearly from B-Tom's last lap. Fire Rat's going to start his lap, and I imagine he might get a toe from the Alpine. I wonder if they're friends. I don't know the league dynamics here. Frozen knows he's got his crown secured, so it's up to 5, and that's a loss. I guess our top 3 looks pretty certain then. Can Lurka say anything about it going down into turn 1 and a final run? Should be a final run. I don't know how much time is left. In turn 1, turn 2 does go about it pretty cleanly. Both kicks are out. Okay, time's over. This is your last lap if you need one. So, Urka flying on down. It's a bit of an improvement, but it's not going to really set them to that much higher. Cloud retiring from P6, and both kick Saubers once again in the top 5. Can the Williams say anything about it though? Because I know they'd like to start from P3, really get themselves in a good position to overtake P1 and 2. Because God knows once those guys start fighting, you can go 3 wide if you really want to. Anyway, into Sector 3 now. That is not a purple, but it is ever so slight improvement. Would it be enough to get back into the top 5? It would be if he keeps on this form. Fight Me Now bot for some reason sticking his hat right where it needs to be in P4, just ahead of the IRT Ferrari Pro. I don't know what to call you. Ferrari Pro, because I don't want it to IRT. I'm just going to call you IRT. Anyway, top 5 gets shaken up again, as Lurka does insert himself back in the narrative. Probably not by as much as he wanted to. And Fire Rat's going, no, this is in lap. Yeah, not much change here. Stewie in P10. That's what's going to round out the top 10 here. As the Red Bull of Mango gets back into P9. Spinala King probably living up to his name, or hopefully he doesn't. Top 5 looking pretty damn secure. Everyone's either finished or done with their laps, so that was a pretty good qualifying, if I do say so myself. Oh my God, we got the Chrome McLarens. That's awesome. But anyway, in terms of the race, we do we should see some decent racing, so long as everyone stays closer together, starts fighting. That's someone I don't understand. I didn't see the name, but someone is sniffing on mic. Lurka. Somebody tell Lurka to shut up. No, I'm kidding. But anyway, wonderful job to Frozen VX, who ended up clenching pole position for the Alpine. Next in line, B-Tom rounds out the P2 in the Aston Martin. The championship leader is going to look to extend his lead. I think these two... Is it Frozen who's 3 points away? It isn't. Frozen's really far off, actually. So it'll be the other Alpine. Canam. Canam, P8. I didn't even notice that. 3 points away. This isn't the race he's looking for at all. We're going to follow that very, very closely, very, very intensely. Is formation lap on? Oh, I should have asked. I should have asked if formation lap was on. That would have been helpful information. Somebody could tell me that right now. Yeah. Oh, is the game audio really bad? Okay, thank you. If the game audio is really bad, I'll turn it down because I don't want it entirely like nothing. I don't want nothing, but I will turn it down if it's that bad. Turn it down slightly. And yeah, it's just how it's always been. Even since F123, the onboards have sounded really bad, and I don't know if you necessarily can install a mod to fix that, can install something else to fix that. But I don't know, we'll see. I'm very, very glad everyone seems to be enjoying the stream so far. And I know the signs, Lightspeed Racing everywhere, quite a popular little thing. It's pretty easy. All you need is this thing called, well, one PC. Two, you need to be like this thing called Ego ERP Archiver, and it lets you kind of inspect the files. And so long as you have images that fit the, as long as you have images that fit the size of the banners, you can just go and replace them. It's really, really easy. I don't. More people should definitely do it, because it just adds, your own little touch to whatever race you go to. Whatever race you're watching, like you'll know, oh yeah, this is there's just little updates from the Discord chat. Time for the new guys to take over. It's just a close qualifying, Jill. Thick dick, Rick prick, slick lick. 27. Oh, that's Mango. Of course it is. Why wouldn't it be? It fully checks out. So I mean, with a name like Mango, P9, I don't know. Is it started? Oh God, I hope the stream isn't broken. Or I hope the game isn't broken, because Lord knows F1 is a wonderful game with no issues. Oh God. F1 is a wonderful game with no issues whatsoever, and Codemasters EA are some of the best as developers, game developers, to ever grace this modern Earth, this beautiful, beautiful planet. So anyway, as we wait here, why don't I want to go over some of the championship statistics here. Beatom has won one race, pulled only once before. However, he's been on the podium every single time. He's gained quite a few. Oh, here we go. 1 lights, 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, and 5 lights ahead of the drivers, and we are off and away here in Barcelona. Can I get this? Can I get the menu, please? Frozen VX starts in P1. Is this the actual race? Anyway, Frozen VX starts in P1. The Haas overtakes for P5. Bit of a scrap there for P3 as God, Fireat into. Wow, God, not a great race for Fireat. I'm trying to get a wide angle, but it's that's really not working for me right now. Haas falling down the order as both Alpines end up making their way into the top 5. Yeah, hell, even Canam P2 in the championship only has one car fighting for him. Canam only has one car fighting. Only has to fight one car before he gets back up into P1 or P2, sorry, to fight the actual championship leader and reclaim that 3-point gap. Someone else falls down the order. Hog Rider, not very good from McLaren, as one of the pick Sours in P5 just kind of sticks there, clearing FDR, CDR Stewie. So far, our biggest loser right now will pretty obviously be fire at, who is all the way down in P19. Frozen, though, from P1 all the way down to P4, and not very optimum for the Alpine driver, as you never really see an overtake through on turn 13, or turn 12, sorry. You never really see that kind of battle end up happening. So, as both the Red Bull and Williams duke it out on main straight, B-Tom sets the fastest lap of 119. Let's see what the tires are right now. Tire strategy, everyone's on mediums, though Tom's probably on softs, knowing he really does want to, you know. Tom's probably on softs, trying to at least extract some position for you. What was I going to say? Anyway, top three getting spread out as expected, honestly. Usually it starts to happen a few laps, and it's really hard to keep fighting this. Tom's really showing some pace on those softs, but how soon is he going to start dissipating around the track? Barcelona, quite a hot, dry place at the moment. So we'll probably see those tires start to, you know, degrade pretty quickly. Really, everyone's running the mediums. I imagine medium hard strat for today's race. I haven't really checked on the actual tire strategy, but I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing people pit around lap 12. Anyway, in P16, battle for the ages here between the Haas and Red. Red being one of the worst qualifiers for today. Lurka sets the fastest lap of 1:15 for the Williams. Looks like he is starting to close the gap ever so slightly between himself and the Aston Martin, as he really rides up in there. We could see a fight for the win here, or for at least P1. Spin Up King gets over on the AlphaTauri, I was about to say. The Red Racing Bull, the V-Carb, the Visa. I was really fighting. I was doing a few practice rounds of commentary, and I was really fighting, like, what do I call these things on stream? Because AlphaTauri rolled off the tongue. Tara Rosso rolled off the tongue. The Visa Cash App Racing Bull doesn't, but I wouldn't be the first person to say that in the history of ever. So, as Tom's probably starting to see those softs degrade, especially if he's pushing really hard, like, honestly, he probably is. You know, he's going to start being susceptible to the other drivers. I was going to say he almost lost it and maybe slipped ever so slightly. So as we get over with these final 3 laps, it is B-Tom to Lurka to Kanam to Frozen to IRT to Cloud to Stewie to Tom to BXT to MK7, or rather Hitch to Wessel to Chenzo. JMC and Fight Me Now, those two Hasses are sticking very close to each other. IRT Ferrari sets the fastest lap of today's race, but doesn't seem to be closing in on Frozen then. Top 5 seems relatively unchanged, or unchallenged rather. No one's really in position to fight each other off, so I would have liked to get a more exciting venue for my first race. You know, you can't complain. Beggars can't be choosers, and hopefully I'm back next week as Williams starts to close in on Tom ever so slightly. You did see a slight, you know, decrease in that gap. Bit of a lockup from, I believe, Kanam, if I saw that correctly, but, you know, all these blue cars, you never really know. Sound is so bad. Okay, do specify when you say sound. Is it the actual cars? I genuinely can't do anything about that. That is just the game. It's always run like that. I'm sorry. It sucks. It really does. Yellow flags for Sector 2. Seems they've recovered pretty easily. Hog Rider, though, all the way in the back there. Really just running a race of his own on hards. Doesn't seem to be doing very well. Lurka is starting to drift off just a little bit, as B-Tom, I guess, is doing a bit better job of keeping that gap between the two as big as it needs to be. LRT Ferrari, no move, in no place to really make a move, but these two are going side by side down to turn 1. We could see an attack from the Williams if he was brave enough, but no one's as brave enough as 2016 Max Verstappen, so we'll have to wait here a little bit. He's going to try and get a better line here, but it doesn't seem to have worked. The Williams really struggling behind that Red Bull, trying to get a draft to hopefully, you know, get in position to actually take the place. But as we go on down to turn 5, it doesn't seem there's really going to be another opportunity until the back straight, except for a lockup. It's really going to set him up well for... I'll stop staying on board, that way, you know. I guess I just have outdated audio drivers or something. But anyway, that is the Williams going into into turn 9, sorry, in P9, as DRS is open for the both of them. It's going to negate the effect of his. It's going to negate the effect of his. Yeah, in-game sound, unfortunately. It really is sad. It really is sad. But anyway, no position change at the moment. Lap 5 out of 33 is a 50% race, but look at this. The Williams gets a wonderful ride out from turn 14, or turn 13, sorry, and with DRS, I think that's going to be a surefire overtake move. That is a second, or a little bit further up the order, a second. Pulls out to the right, doesn't really have the room to make it stick. Speeding in the pit lane for red, and he just kills himself. He just kills himself after that one, you know. At that point, you get a 10-second time penalty. You know your race is over. I would do the same. I would do the same thing. Frozen and Kanem staying very, very close to each other, but I think Frozen knows Kanem really needs the position. Lurka and B-Tom don't really seem to be getting any closer to each other, as the McLaren of Hog Rider just... I don't know what he's doing, but he's doing something. McLaren master plan is not to be doubted, all right? So B-Tom is still the race leader. Lurka, they're all like about a half second away from each other. Very uniform line as they rocket on down into Sector 3. You know, I'd report who's trying to steal fastest lap. Hog Rider is our second casualty of the session. Very unfortunate for McLaren there. They'll be scoring points. No, they won't. I lied. Chenzo's in 15th. I feel like with a lot of the colors as well. Maybe I'll just get used to it once Maybe I'll get used to it once I'm in the seat for longer. But let's see. These guys are really close. The Ferrari's really on the... the Williams actually did get ahead of the Red Bull. When did I miss that? That's really unfortunate. But yeah, like I said, those softs are really going to start to degrade, especially if you don't have the raw pace to just kind of fend that off. Tom, I hope you know what you're doing, man. Because if you're spending way too much energy to actually get some pace out of those tires, the gamble's really not going to pay off. As Frozen and Kane start switching positions, side by side through Sector 1 and 2. That is a wonderful teammate fight, but will they break the golden rule as Kanem, so as Kanem goes ahead of his teammate, then CDR Stewie makes a move on Ferrari. Oh wait, no, I think that's just a mishap from Ferrari, or IRC. Very unfortunate for the Kick Sauber. I think he might be the second casualty of this race. He just stopped on track. Is he trying to cause a safety car? That's not the way to do it. Very much not the way to do it. Kanem, though, stays in P3. As Frozen really tried to come up onto his space. And like I said, the gaps remain very unchanged, though that might, speak too soon. Speak of the devil, Lurka getting a wonderful move on B-Tom. He's going to pull out to the right-hand side as any man would. B-Tom looks to defend, and they almost collide. They do collide ever so slightly. I wonder what the damage is on both cars, but Lurka, lead of the race. That is the move for the lead of the race, and B-Tom really does want to fight that back, but Lurka has the line advantage. But we might see a pace advantage. Whoa, the switchback going down into turn 4. B-Tom once again defends and brakes very heavily on the apex, though it's not illegal. I made it sound like it was, though. Wonderful racing from the Aston Martin championship leader. No wonder he is leading a championship with a racecraft like that. Kanem can only play spectator to that little fight, and that will gain him some wonderful, precious time as he rides the bumper of the Williams, rides the back of the Williams. Sorry, as he rides the back of the Williams, they're 2/10 up from his time. Or 2/10 up, and then the gap is just all these four. If this is a better track, this would be a marvelous battle to start yelling over. But sadly, it's not, as both Alpine teammates are getting remarkably close to each other. B-Tom is kind of running away with it. I'm sure Frozen wishes he was up there competing, but this is going to be a DRS fight for the ages. No, it's not. they all spread out once again. Lurka, I don't think he's going to get the same run he did. Yeah, he's definitely not going to get quite the same run he did on B-Tom as he did earlier, especially with that mistake that B-Tom made. Unless you can force him back into something like that. Really no replicating that. However, he might leave himself susceptible to the other... Not really. This Ferrari sounds like a lawnmower. What F1 car doesn't sound like a lawnmower with a V6? I definitely wish it was a V10 or a V8. Honestly, my favorites were the V8s. But that's just the era I started watching Formula 1 in. When I was like when I was an infant, when I was 4. Anyway, 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings as Wetter, I'm going to call him Wetter, fuck it, does get ahead of Stewie. Stewie seems to have had a mistake of his own. I'm assuming he was forced off track, and maybe he can fight that with the stewards. But the midfield here seems to get very close to each other, as now even FVR Cloud is slowly approaching this little DRS train. This little train of cars here. Podium, again, it's really not going to be changing too much, so I guess a lot of the positions gained are going to be in tire strat. And there is Fight Me Now bot. Oh, no, yeah, like I said, okay, pit around lap 10. I was almost right. My guess was almost right. Fire Rat going into the pits as well. What are we going to start changing on to? If it's not the hards, I'd be surprised. But, I mean, you know, medium hard, it's a very common strategy. We're going to start seeing... Right? Is it the hards? Yeah, hards. All right, medium hard, that's the meta, I guess, for Barcelona. Nothing's really changed. And that is Tom setting the fastest lap of the race, but from P15, so I'm not really sure how much that means. Definitely fell off a little bit compared to where he was running. As a Ferrari sandwich the Williams finds himself in, but the bottom end of that sandwich is a bit far away, so it's nothing really needs to be worried about, but Wetter does want to get into the top 5 to claim, you know, what is it, 10 points? Yeah, 10 points. Oh, a mistake from Cloud, a little bit of a slide there, could very well make that a reality as everyone's really starting to get into this little top 10, top 5 battle. All these cars just kind of forming a line around each other, but no one really with enough pace to make a move. Cloud dives into the pits there, gives Wendy, Cloud dives into the pits there, giving Wetter a P5 position, but, you know, everyone else is going to start diving into the pits for, you know, hards, most likely. I doubt anyone's going to try and drag out those softs. JMC gets a 10-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. It's Lurka, once again, really, and kills himself too. 4th casualty of today's race. Very unfortunate. Kick Sauber really hoping for Fire Rat to pull through. McLaren, Shenzo, I doubt he's going to do much from here anyway. But I could be wrong. This could just be an off day, and I could just be slandering a driver. That's usually pretty good. But we'll see. Beatom, currently our race leader, and it's not a comfortable margin. Any mistake will send this into jeopardy, or put his position in jeopardy. But it's not exactly the most dangerous place to be a half-second away on a track where people can't really follow. Because as fun as Barcelona is to drive, you know, it's really not disproving the allegations. It's really not disproving the boring allegations at the moment. Going through turn 13 and 14, that is Beatom diving into the pits on lap 11. And as lap 12 starts with Lurka crossing the line, the leader, we're going to probably see him diving into the pits very soon. Kanam could very well... James, okay, yeah. Kanam could start to see some some time gained on the Williams as people start shuffling around in the pits. BXT comes out in 4th place, and Beatom coming out of the pits now with a fresh set of hards. Maybe we could see some extra pace from these guys at the back who've put in we're probably going to do a hard medium. Can you check tire deg? No. Can check energy though. Might be interesting to actually see around. Anyway, Beatom emerges. It's still in the top 10. I'll still score points, even if something catastrophic happens, and somehow later on, once everyone else is pitted. But yeah, Kanam and Lurka really want to use this time to really push themselves to gain as much time as they can before, you know, they have to dive back into the pits. 11-lap-old mediums, the entire top 5 possesses. Spinella King in P6 has 11-lap-old softs. Everyone else that's below that has pitted. So Lurka stays out. Lurka stays out. Kanam does too. Wetter does too. I don't know what he gains from this. He's not really in any position to, you know, fight for that top 3 spot. He's not really closing in. Kanam, though, is getting closer to the Williams as we speak. No, again, it's really going to be hard. You can't really... There aren't really too many places to go find pace, find slipstream, it's really hard to follow on these cars. And, you know, I've been playing a lot of F1 2020 recently. Froggy, thank you. So Lurka, Kanam, and Froggy. All right. That makes a lot more sense. Anyway, Tom gets over into P10. That's going to be an extra point for Red Bull there as they get over the junior team. CDR Stewie's probably going to look to fight that back. However, they're both saving. Is that the battery? Am I reading that right? Let's see. Telemetry. No. Oh, okay. Never mind. I see it. I see it now. I see where the battery is on the wheel. But yeah, looks like Stewie definitely has a lot more battery than Tom saved up at the moment. Lurka is not draining the battery either as they stay out for another one. Kanam finally decides to call it quits, and Froggy does as well, pulling through the pits then. That's going to be, Lurka in the lead of the race, but for how long? And is it really a lead if they're going to start depleting their mediums? I really wish you could check. I really wish you could check Tire Dag. That's going to be Spinella King rising up to P3. The highest they're going to be running in this race unless they really pull through. FER Cloud into P4. This is genuinely where he is, especially once the others start shuffling back around. Kanam in P6. Looks like a wonderful little gamble from this guy. Really set him off right. He's probably going to take these hards to the end of the race. I wonder how he did it. I do wonder how he did it. I have this game. You should come play it then. You should join the league. Anyway, top three, I'd like to say, remains unchanged. No one's really gaining monumental pace on each other. Lurka stays out, and he has the chance to pit now. Will the Williams end up pitting now? Finally, he dives into the pit entry. So change from those ragged-ass mediums. And so BXT, my bad, I was about to say BTS, cut the cameras. BXT, flying on down, leads the race by default at the moment. 14-lap-old mediums, though we'll probably see him pit very, very soon. So the actual running order is going to start to become very apparent. B-Tom, it seems like he's lost position. Yeah, he has lost position. Either through a slow pit stop, slow pace, and while staying out, he's lost position, I guess these guys, the overcut really did work, as they are going to emerge, not necessarily the race leaders, especially if Cloud. If Cloud decides to, pit later on, because those hards might not make it to the very end of the race. We're almost about halfway through now, by the way. B-Tom makes a move on Lurka. These two are going side by side. The Williams is going to defend. The Aston Martin kind of bumps him off, really ruining his exit, throwing him back down into P8. You heard me get really excited, switching to comms mode, but it didn't really work out. B-Tom stays in P6. Fight Me Now bot disqualified from the wrong session. Disqualified from the session wrong way. Not very good for him at all. However, we're going to still follow everyone else as BXT finally makes the decision to pit, so Spinella King stays out as well. Cloud leads the race, I guess, by default, especially once Spinella King ends up pitting 4 seconds away, or once this updates. 4.5 seconds away from FVR Cloud. FVR Cloud could well and truly want to run away from it, especially with how easy it is to defend. Really just have to get good exits where it matters. DRS is your best friend, unless you really have a ballsy person who is really impatient. Yellow flags. That is 6 casualties to report for today. And these two are getting really, really close to each other now. I'm assuming Kanam, I wonder if they'll pull team orders at some point and be like, hey, switch us around. Please switch us around. Because at the moment, Kanam stands to benefit a lot from the extra points. Especially if they just, switch them around. Kanam stands to benefit a lot, but, that's not really good racing, and I don't even know if that's the culture here. Fight Me Now leaves the session. B-Tom stays in P5 as, Froggy. Especially if that wasn't his fault, because I didn't see the incident that gave him that 3-second penalty, but I did kind of see, another car end up dying a little bit. So I imagine it was for cutting the track and maybe avoiding that or something. I'm not sure. But on the off chance he gets that appealed, Spinella King finally pulls into the pits, and now we're left with our well and true race leader, FVR Cloud, who's getting hounded by another Mercedes. Sorry, I thought Smelican did pit. No. He just straight up got overtaken. That's really funny. Oh, wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful stuff. Frozen rounds out the podium then, but I mean the rest of them, they're all still following close behind. You could see Beaton getting some pressure from Froggy. Then he really does not want to give up that position, especially with how much he will end up losing from this. Losing from this if he doesn't stay in P5. Really not much action going on here. Everyone's just kind of slotting into their own little positions, own little like parts on the track. Yeah, the gaps are getting wider as well, which is really unfortunate because you'd love to see some wonderful racing between these drivers who are very clearly matched for each other. They're very clearly like on each other's level. In a fight, oh yes, Spinella King finally pulls in as FVR Cloud seems to be making some wonderful use of those hard tires. That is the fastest lap of the race, and we could see a surprise race winner from the Ferrari if those hard tires actually last the entire distance. But yeah, Canam P3 at the moment. Both Alpines are on the podium. So it's a Ferrari Renault podium. Very, very nice. Mercedes-powered Aston Martin. Actually, Mercedes powers all the rest of the cars down into P8. We finally get the Honda power of the Toro Rossos. I do not care that I called them the Toro Rossos. Anyway, that is a very, very, very short gap between the Canam and Beaton. Probably going to see those two fight, especially if Beaton gets the exit right here. And especially if Canam loses it here, DRS will be enabled for the Aston Martin. But I don't really think it's going to be enough, because you don't gain a gap at all, especially if the guy ahead of you also has DRS. You can see yellow flags for Fire at. Really not a great race considering his pace in qualifying. Very unfortunate. He pitted again. How many stops has he done now? 2 stops, yeah. I guess he just fucked up a front wing, I guess. Everyone else has done 1 stop except for Tom, who did 2 stops yet again. For what might have been a fucked up front wing. Hitch having a wonderful time, the other Aston Martin. Ooh, oh yeah, Stewie in the pits now. And that is Stewie at La Session. Our 7th casualty, leaving only 13 drivers remaining in the race. Like I said, FVR Cloud actually having the time of his life, but not as much as Hitch, who is our biggest winner at the moment, tied with Wessel. I almost said Vessel, but that would make too much sense. Anyway, B-Tom not really doing too hot here, other than Fireat, second biggest loser. They're tied for the biggest loser. Everyone else has gained a lot of positions. Everyone else that's still in the race, I mean, has gained a lot of positions. Canam absolutely having a wonderful time. 5 positions gained. And yeah, DRS enabled for the Aston Martin once again. But I mean, this battery, he's not really conserving much more battery than anyone else is other than Frozen, so it's not going to be really important to the battle there. Can you see everyone else rounding turn 13 as the Ferrari pulls away? This could genuinely be a Ferrari victory because he's not really losing time. Really a dark horse in the race, Cloud, absolutely just kind of speeding away with it. We could see those hards start to degrade as the race goes on and maybe start to, and now he's down under 5 seconds, but if that lasts, it's a close margin. And with that rate, you're not really going to see any people really catch him. Like, you're not going to see people, really start fucking flying to catch him. 5 seconds. Separates between 1 and 2. And because he's already completed a stop, he could just stay out. That's what I would do. But, 10 laps, once 10 laps are over, you could see this hard start to degrade. And it's like, I don't know. Could be a dark horse, could not be. What I know is if it comes down to it, that's going to be one hell of a defense he'll need to put on between Frozen and Canam. All these drivers are hungry, and Lord knows they will bite on anything that lets them take the win here. Frozen, yeah, no, he's even gapping them now. I think we are going to see a dark horse Ferrari winner, and as a Ferrari fan, in real life, makes me happy a little bit. Anyway. Beaton once again going to get DRS on the main straight, but as the rear wing flies open for everybody, it's not even effective against Frozen, he's there, but he's not close enough. The dirty air starts to really play its role here as Hitch dives into the pits. I guess a little too, called him the biggest winner time of his life. A little too soon. He's going to lose a lot of position. Even a fire out, I think. Chenzo really running a race of his own. I don't feel... I respect the grind to keep on going, but, you know, I wouldn't have the strength. I would not have the strength to keep going. Go listen to my music. That's what that tag is. I love this game. How to participate in this league. I compete for LMU. Oh, well, I mean, it should be a really easy sign-up process, I imagine. I just got here, so I'm not the right person to talk to. But if you're American, Jonah has been really helpful. Lives in... Jonah has been really helpful for my time zone. So anyway, yeah, Cloud back into the pits then. You know what? It's like... I kind of... Unless he had front wing damage, I kind of wanted him to ride it out. Because now you're going to lose a lot of position. Maybe not too much, but you are going to switch with your teammate. Down into P7. It's like, is he on softs? What is he on? No, he's on hard. No, he's on hards again. I mean, go off, King, sure, but it's like, I don't know. Maybe he just doubted his driving ability, which is really unfortunate. Now it is a real lead. Now it really is a lead for a battle for the lead here. We can see Frozen takes the race lead. 10-lap old medium. Sorry, fuck, I keep getting that wrong. 10-lap old hards are going to carry him to the race lead if he has anything to say about it, because it's just been a DRS train the entire time. No one's close enough to make a move, especially down here. So this really is our main fight, unless Wessel decides to really give us a show with himself and BXT. People are watching. But yes, thank you so much for tuning into this race. It's Spain, definitely not one of the most exciting tracks ever, but it is a very fun track to drive. Even I'll give him that. B-Tom getting a lovely run on Kanam, but I don't think it's going to be enough as Kanam gets a drag from his teammate, and it's not going to be enough. It's unfortunate, but it's not. You really wish it would be. You really wish it would be, because I'd love to see an intense battle for the lead, or at least battle for P2. But you're not really going to find that here, especially in, Spain. And so as they keep going on down towards turn far. Is that left from Boston? No, it's not. It's not. Fucking put on a bit of an accent for that for no reason. But anyway, Lurka, P4, definitely looking to get into the top 10, or top 3, my bad, guys. On fresher tires as well, so it's likely he could. Going to race director, let's see the times people have been putting in. Can you see the time? Can you not? Oh, view lap times, yeah. So at the moment, especially in the last few laps, he's been pretty consistent with the lower 115s, but I mean, the last couple have been a little unkind to him, Frozen. They're going to cross the line now. We're going to see what the actual lap time is going to register as Sector 3 comes into the 22.4. Yeah. So there's not much drop-off there at all. Kanam cannot really fight that. B-Tom can't really fight that. How's B-Tom lapping? View lap times. His fastest lap is a 15.1, 15.6. He's been in the upper register for a while, so he can't really fight that. Kanam is going to really benefit from this here. 18 points go to P2. That is a lockup from Kanam. A very minor one, but a lockup nonetheless, which might set him off. Or at least mess up his lap just a little bit. Might give B-Tom a little bit of hope to extend his lead rather than just, take it lying down. So, 2 going through turn 9 now. It's a closer gap than it ever has been, but DRS is still open for the Alpine of Kanam. So really, B-Tom's only hope is to just kind of hope and pray to God that Frozen just ends up binning it. Frozen ends up binning it, and we just, I don't hope for that, but I do hope for whatever gives us better racing. You can still see Kanam going through, and it's just not enough. It's the gap's not enough. Nothing's enough. He does feel threatened by Lurka enough to go defensive to, remove him from the slipstream. So Lurka could very well ruin this for B-Tom. Cloud's the fastest lap of the race on those hard tires. Like I said, I don't know why you didn't just stay in the lead of the race, dude. But anyway, Cloud getting a wonderful look down in turn 1. Those two are going to go side by side, but it's really not going to be enough from the Ferrari. He's not going to be close enough to the Mercedes to really get in there for turn 1 at least. But that is a wonderful run on the Mercedes into turn 4. You can see there he's struggling a little bit, the Mercedes was. But as they rocket on down towards turn 5, that is a decisive Ferrari victory. I think the Mercedes lost it a little bit because that is a huge gap to pull after just one move. But let's get the gap back up here. Tires, no one really cares about that anymore. Lurka's really just, everyone's still consistent here, but Cloud really wants to take names as he tries to move on up into P6. I wonder if these guys have any communication at all. But anyway, Cloud went AFK for a minute as he stayed on the left-hand side of the road, kind of removing himself from his teammate's slipstream. Yeah, Vessel can't really do much to fight that. Yeah, top 5 remains unchanged. Froggy, again, running a race of his own with hopes to catch the rest, but not really anything. But Williams both in the top 5, Alpine both in the top 5. Definitely nothing you'd see in real life here. As FVR Cloud moves on his teammate into turn 1 very decisively by the time they get into the complex. You don't really... Yeah, FVR Cloud actually giving us a show. You can hope and pray everyone else is going to do that very, very soon, but so far it's looking pretty bleak for fans of exciting racer. Lovely stuff. Lovely, lovely stuff so far. And I'm hoping to return next week when it's what is it next week? Let's check. That way we all have something to look forward to. Oh, next week is Belgium. Oh, lock in. Lock in. August 9th and 10th takes us to Belgium. We should have a wonderful night there. Right now, if I'm doing my math correctly, it's like 10 p.m. over in Britain. Oof. Fire at going around once again, I believe. If not going around, then it definitely had a bit of an incident then. Puts himself out of the points. Mango back into the points now. Running a pretty clean race. Anyway, FVR Cloud sets another fastest lap of the race, but he's really not going to contend with anyone from there. Spinella King gets a 3-second time penalty. The gap stays the same. And you just wish one of these two would either mess up. I wish Frozen would slip a little bit. You give us a little show. Give us something, or even Kanam. You do kind of wish something would happen there. That way they can start fighting in a nice way with 6 laps of the race to go. I'd love to start screaming, being like, "That's the lead of the race, everyone! Frozen wins!" Some bullshit like that. But it's like you can't really do much in Barcelona. Oh, you see what I see? See that very, very slight lockup. Kanam grows his gap between his teammate, but Beaton, he really has to hope he's getting a really good run and not, messed up in the dirty air. Spinella King spins around. He's going to keep P10 most likely if he can get back on track. But anyway, a wonderful exit sees DRS swing wide open. Beaton, can he even do anything other than just stay behind Kanam? No, it's not going to be enough. And that's not even a dig against him. I just, no matter what he did, and I doubt it was going to be enough. Frozen stays in the lead of the race a little over a half second, a little over 6/10 actually. He even seems to be growing his lead, which is insane to think about. Absolutely insane to think about. Yeah, that is Spinella King with a 10-second time penalty. Very unfortunate. But I mean, what do you really expect? That is our 9th casualty, or 8th casualty. Sorry guys, I can't do math. Basic math, not one of my strong suits. That's why I'm commentating F1. But anyway, Kanam growing the gap between his teammate as Frozen really is, I guess, happy that what happened here? B-Tom around. Oh no, I guess he got lost on the exit of one of the turns here. It's going to put him in Froggy's sights to really ruin his championship. Kanam probably ecstatic that he's going to get into the lead of the championship here. Because if Kanam finishes with 18 points and Beaton finishes with 12, right? 18. Oh! And that is the inversion I was looking for earlier. Team orders come into effect as Frozen lets Kanam by, and Kanam's going to go speeding home for the lead of the race for the 25-point game that he stands to earn today. 12 points versus 25. Let's do some quick maths. Quick math, really quick. 25 plus what is it, 71? 25 plus 71 is going to give us 96 points. So Kanam is going to leave this race with 96 points. B-Tom is going to lose his lead most likely. 74. Well, that's 86 points. Very unfortunate for B-Tom, but it's nothing you can never claw back. It's only the midpoint of the season. It's so much season left to go, but he's going to really enjoy being on top of the title at the moment. B-Tom now 1.7 seconds away from everyone else. And, you know, even if he loses more ground, he can't afford to lose more ground, especially to, you know, Froggy right now. And FVR Cloud, like I said, looking to take names, inserts himself into this little fight here. He should have just stayed out. He could have won the race. But I don't know. We'll see. He's getting a really... He would be getting a really good run if DRS, you know, wasn't so vital to actually doing anything. But that is B-Tom around the outside of Lurka. Lurka on side by side with his teammate then, as even Froggy goes on through. Is it going to be a triple loss for Lurka? That's FVR Cloud looking on the outside of turn 3 and on the run down to turn 4. He's probably going to try and execute a move there. Oh, fuck. The Williams locks up. And that is, yeah. Oh, you can tell I'm out of practice. FVR Cloud dives on the inside of turn 5, and that is going to be a fairly decisive, especially once they get out of it. Setting his sights now on the Williams driver of Froggy then. He is, like I said, taking names with no mercy. I'm loving the drive that Cloud is on. With penalties, obviously Cloud does inherit P5, but... Oh, that is a wonderful run Lurka has got on the Ferrari. Can he keep it as they go down the inside through the little redone complex, and FVR Cloud manages to stick his car where it needs to be able to defend the Williams. As a Williams-Ferrari situation right now, but the other Ferrari is nowhere near this little fight here, as the top two ended up switching for position. That is FVR Cloud. Getting a wonderful run on Froggy, absolute cinema, and even a wonderful run on B-Tom. Maybe an illegal run on B-Tom. That is way too fast. You can see the Aston Martin get a little clipped by the Ferrari then trying to defend, and that is going to be the Aston Martin losing even more position, losing even more ground as he split into a Williams sandwich. Lurka's probably going to want to have him, you know, look on the Aston Martin then as FVR Cloud moves into the podium. Hell, if the race was 100%, I would not even want to see how lethal this man could start driving. Wonderful, wonderful stuff. Very exciting little last lap antics here, as B-Tom now is about a half second where he was, you know, during that entire thing, and in just the span of a few laps, it's all come crumbling down for the Ferrari driver. So, top two, once again, you know, like I said, reiterating, they did switch for Lila race. Tom leaves the session. B-Tom, the other one, half second away from FVR, half second away from Froggy. But dude, Cloud is immensely gaining some ground. I think these guys are getting close to each other just for the bit. I doubt Frozen will want to risk anything within the last couple laps of this race. It is lap 32, and that is Froggy and B-Tom going at it. B-Tom gets ahead of the Williams driver, but that is a run the Williams driver doesn't want to take. And with a little bit of slipstream, hopefully, that is a really fucked up line. He's not really going to do much here. Lurka's probably going to have a look then. You could see trying to gauge the corner, trying to gauge where everyone is. Gauge the battle. B-Tom. Dude, even Cloud right now, I don't know why you didn't stay out. Maybe those tires were just giving him a lot of trouble, because obviously it seems to have been a move that worked in the long run. Technically, it worked in the long run. That is a huge position gain, or 4, you know. Can't really complain about that. But Kanam, going to be our biggest winner besides a Vessel, but I don't think that really... Wessel. But maybe it's the German way. but I don't think that really counts considering he did just kind of keep it clean and, you know, outlive a lot of other drivers. So yes, Kanam, 7 positions gained from P8, or P7, P8, yeah. Beautiful stuff. BXT and Vessel, yeah, like I said, kind of just outlived everybody else, so you can't really count that as both Williams' teammates invert. One of them pulling out to the right-hand side, kind of let his teammate through, trying to not give him the slipstream, and I know Froggy is going to want to fight that back. The Atlassian Duracell branded car. I do like the Duracell battery on the car. It's a nice little touch. I've always loved it. I don't know how other people feel, but I've always loved it. Within the span of like a lap, by the way, he's closed that gap within a second. These hard tires are blisteringly fast, and you can even see them. If there was just a little bit more time, I no doubt think that a Cloud could overtake for the lead of the race and really make some moves. Frozen probably backing off a little bit just so he doesn't really jeopardize anything for his teammate. But as we round the final, as we come around for Sector 3 in the final time of this race, turn 12 now being one of only 3 that Kanam has to complete before getting the lead of the race, or sorry, securing the win of the race. As long as he keeps it clean here, as long as he keeps it clean on the very last turn, I saw Max Verstappen kind of lose it there, right there. He pulls to the line, and that is Kanam's race to win. Frozen in P2 and FVR Cloud rounds out the podium. Wonderful result for the Ferrari driver as B-Tom comes home 4th and Lurka secures 5th with Froggy in 6th place for now. BXT comes home 6th with Froggy's penalty, and Wessel comes home P8. Mango and MK7 Hitch do round out the top 10. I think they were fighting, but obviously there was one more lap. Mango probably would have been able to, or sorry, Mitch would have been able to probably fight that. And the last 2 cars kind of come home in the walk of shame here. Chenzo just 1 position away from gaining an actual point for his efforts. And Firat, who did look very promising, very unfortunately finishes at the back of the pack, but can't win them all. So a very, very wonderful effort from the Alpine team, who finished with a 1-2. Are they leading the constructors? They are. Oh, by a long margin. By just about 30 points. 34 points separate Alpine and Aston Martin in the top and 2nd place of the driver standings. You can see him do the gritty. Okay. But yes, wonderful race from these 2 drivers here or these 3 drivers who have earned their places very, very confidently. Ghost, like I said, that was his name, right? Ghost. Probably could have won that. Or Cloud, my bad. I don't know. I said Ghost. Yeah, Cloud. If you'd stayed out, I wonder how that would have changed. But immense effort anyway. Wonderful effort from everybody. And B-Tom will be losing the lead of the Drivers' Championship for now, hoping to fight that back once we return at Spa-Francorchamps for the Belgian Grand Prix at LSR Group 1. I really want to thank everyone for having me on today. Just letting me come in, letting me do Group 1. Very, very nice honor. Def Spinola. Very, very nice honor, even if the race itself wasn't too eventful. But hopefully I succeeded in the quest of any good commentator to make something boring watchable at the very least, because it's really hard to make boring racing great. But so long as you can sit through it, so long as you can sit and enjoy it, I'm glad to have been of service. Let's see what the Discord is saying. Got wing damage turn 1. Cooked from the start. B-Tom saying he had wing damage. Lurka. All I tried to do was scare you off the line. I didn't know what happened. Hog Rider. Very, very, very good race from him. But yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. My name has been YT Tevin, and should be back next week for Group 1. We'll see. Yeah, they're smart. Less chaos. Yeah. But anyway, thank you guys, like I've said, for the 900th time. I'll be back next week.